Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about one of the biggest lies ever sold to us. It's not crypto, it's not real estate, it's the belief that studying hard will automatically make you rich. From childhood, we were told to go to school, get good grades, find a stable job, and everything would be fine. But nobody told us the truth. Safe and successful are not the same thing. Schools train us to work for money, not to make money work for us. That's why the world is full of smart, hard-working people with degrees, still living paycheck to paycheck. Look around, maybe it's your uncle with an engineering degree, your cousin with an MBA, or your neighbor working double shifts just to stay afloat. Meanwhile, a teenager selling hoodies online is earning 10 times more. Unfair? No, just uneducated in real-world skills. The classroom prepared us for exams, not for the marketplace. You can solve algebra, but can you solve rent? You can write essays on economics, but can you build your own economy? When I graduated, I realized something shocking. I knew everything except how to live. I could find the value of X but not the value of my time. They taught me to memorize history, not how to make my own. That's when I decided that if schools wouldn't teach me about money, life would. And life is a ruthless teacher. It doesn't hand out grades, it hands out bills. It doesn't give homework, it gives deadlines. It doesn't say, try again next semester. It says, pay or lose your house. I once met a man who worked 30 years in the same company. He said, I've given my life to this job. I asked him, then why are you still afraid of losing it? He went silent because deep down, he knew. He didn't own his job. His job owned him. Here's the first truth about money no one tells you: never depend on one income. One paycheck is one oxygen tube. If it breaks, you stop breathing. Most people don't have financial problems, they have income dependency problems. Look at anyone wealthy, they never rely on one source. A musician earns from concerts, brand deals, and royalties. An athlete earns from games, endorsements, and investments. Even YouTubers make money from ads, sponsors, merch, and courses. But the average person? They wait for the first of the month like it's Christmas, and the money disappears faster than free Wi-Fi. They laugh at people starting side hustles, saying, "You're wasting your time." Maybe. But at least those people are building freedom, while the rest are building dependence. You don't need to be rich to start. You just need to stop thinking like an employee all the time. Ask yourself one question: how can I make money even when I'm not working? That's the moment your real financial education begins. Don't say, I don't have money to invest. You don't need money to start, you need creativity, courage, and consistency. When you don't have capital, use your skills. When you don't have skills, use your time. When you don't have time, use your brain. Because if you use none of them, money will end up using you. Let me tell you a story. When Warren Buffett was a teenager, he bought a pinball machine and placed it in a barber shop. Every customer who came in played a game. Soon he bought more machines and filled the town with them. By 20, he sold the business for thousands. He wasn't working for money, he was making money work for him. That's the mindset that changes everything. The world doesn't reward the ones who work the hardest. It rewards the ones who think the smartest. Everyone wants more money. But few people ever stop to ask the right question. How can I make my money work for me? That's the second rule of real wealth. Don't just earn, learn to multiply. Most people spend their entire lives working for money, while the rich make money work for them. Schools teach you how to earn a living, not how to build wealth. Here's the truth: when most people start earning more, they don't become richer, they just become more comfortable. Comfort is the quiet enemy of growth. You get a raise, you upgrade your phone, your shoes, maybe even your car. But your financial freedom doesn't move an inch. Poor people buy things that take money out of their pockets, liabilities. Rich people buy things that put money back in assets. That's the real difference between looking rich and being rich. I remember a friend who got a $5,000 bonus. He said, "Finally, I can buy that new iPhone." I told him, that phone will be outdated next year. Why not buy something that pays for every new phone you'll ever want? He laughed and called it boring advice. A year later, he was broke again. That's when I realized something powerful: broke people spend, rich people circulate. Money is like blood: if it stops flowing, it dies. When you spend, it leaves you. When you invest, it comes back with friends. And remember, investing doesn't always mean stocks or real estate. The best investment you'll ever make is still yourself, your skills, your knowledge, your ideas, your network. Those are assets too. Let's say two barbers open shops on the same street. Both charge $10 for a haircut. One spends his profits on a new phone. The other spends on a marketing course. Next year, one is still cutting hair. The other owns 3 shops. Same effort, different mindset. That's how the rich think. They don't ask, how much can I earn this month? They ask, how can I make this dollar earn another dollar for me? Even if you start with $10 or $100, it's not about the amount, it's about the habit. Elon Musk didn't become rich by saving, he became rich by reinvesting. Every time he made money, he put it into something bigger, from PayPal to SpaceX to Tesla. Most people would have retired after one success. He kept multiplying. You might say, but I don't have millions like him. You don't need millions. He started with time, energy, and vision. He invested before he had money. That's something anyone can do. If you can't multiply your money yet, multiply your skills, your ideas, your connections. Because eventually, those things multiply your income. Money follows value. And value follows people who solve real problems. So, stop asking, how can I make more money? Start asking, how can I make my money multiply? Because when you understand that, you stop working harder and start working smarter. And that's the moment true financial freedom begins. Most people believe money is life's most valuable thing. But they're wrong. The real treasure isn't money, it's time. Because you can lose money and earn it back, but time lost never returns. The poor use time to earn money. The rich use money to buy back time. If you're working 8 hours a day just to get paid, you've traded your life for cash. But when you build something that earns even when you sleep, that's called leverage. And leverage is the line between freedom and survival. I once met a man who bragged about working 16 hours a day. I told him, that's not hard work, that's bad math. Because if your income stops when you stop working, you don't have income, you have an allowance. That's why so many people feel trapped. They're not lazy, they're stuck in a loop: work, earn, spend, repeat. If you stop working and everything collapses, that's not a job. That's a trap. When I first heard about passive income, I thought it was a scam. Come on, I said, how can money show up while I'm asleep? But then I realized, that's exactly how the world's wealthiest live. When you buy an iPhone, Tim Cook doesn't hand it to you himself. He built a system that earns while he sleeps. That's leverage. When you watch a YouTuber's video, they're not sitting next to you. Their video is doing the work. That's leverage. When you invest your money and it grows on its own, that's leverage, too. Hard work opens the first door, but only systems open the rest. If hard work alone made people rich, construction workers would be billionaires. They're some of the hardest working people alive, but they don't own leverage. Today, the internet gives you more leverage than ever before. You don't need a fancy office, you need one idea, one skill, and a laptop. That's enough to create something that works even while you rest. Ask yourself, are you building someone else's dream or your own? Because in the end, your time is your real currency. The poor say, time is money. The rich say, time is freedom. Now let's talk about something schools never teach: financial intelligence. You can have 3 degrees and still be broke, or have street smarts and build an empire. Schools teach you how to pass tests, but life tests you with bills, and there are no multiple choice answers. You can know the atomic number of gold and still not know how to own any. That's because schools give knowledge, not intelligence. Knowledge is information. Intelligence is how you use it. Give 10 people $10,000, most will spend it, a few will save it, and one will multiply it. Same money, different mindset. That's why financial intelligence matters more than income. Because no matter how much you make, you can still lose it all if you don't know how to manage it. Athletes make millions and still go broke because they were trained to play games, not manage gains. Meanwhile, a small shop owner with no degree builds a business that feeds his whole family. That's financial intelligence, the ability to make money work for you, not against you. Money is a game, but most people never learn the rules. They blame the system instead of learning how it works. Banks don't keep your money safe, they use it to make more money. They know how the game works. So should you. Never wait for school or government to teach you. Learn from books, mentors, and your own experience. Because money doesn't care about your GPA, it cares about your decisions. Academic education can make you a living. Financial education can make you a fortune. And finally, the last lesson, don't chase money. Chase value. Money runs from people who chase it but follows those who create value. People don't pay for effort, they pay for impact. Steve Jobs didn't invent the phone. He reinvented how we experience it, that's value. J.K. Rowling didn't write for money. She wrote a story that touched millions, and the money came later. Even influencers and YouTubers who make millions started by giving value, knowledge, humor, emotion, connection. Value first, income next. Everyone wants fast success, but real wealth grows quietly, day by day. Like a seed, you water it, nurture it, and one day it becomes a forest. The richest people aren't the fastest, they're the most consistent. So stop asking, when will I get rich? Start asking, what am I building that people truly need? Because the world doesn't reward effort, it rewards usefulness. When you become useful, you become unstoppable. In the end, real wealth isn't in your wallet, it's in your mindset. If you can think bigger than your problems, you can earn bigger than your paycheck. Money doesn't come to those who want it. It comes to those who earn it through purpose, patience, and value.